who are very successful professionals in their chosen field and, above all, loving mothers to their children. We have with us today our moderator, Shehbaz Mirza, who is a famous radio jockey with a popular morning show on Radio Mirchi FM. She will moderate our discussion today. And now let me introduce you to our other panelists. We have Emily Fleshman, Senior Global Director of Marketing at Almond Board of California. Emily leads the strategy and implementation of Board's global marketing investment, including both consumer and trade activities. We have the beautiful Sonali Bendre with us today, who is a successful actress, an author, homemaker, and a reality show judge. We have Madhuri Rukia, who is a well-known fitness, posture, Pilates, and nutrition expert. We also have Ms. Anju Sood, who comes here with over 25 years of experience in the field of nutrition. She is an expert in the fields of diet and weight management. Thank you, dear panelists. I would now request our moderator to start with the discussion.
Hello. Hi. Okay. Good afternoon. She's already introduced me. Shehbaz Mirza, such a responsibility. Just people know me as Shezi. One quick correction over there is that there are fantastic mothers out here. I am mother to a puppy. Uh, my challenges are just as important. But you know, we're at a place here where we have such fantastic panelists with such different, diverse ideas to share. So you know, I'm really excited, and I think we should kickstart this whole thing with a video. If I could just please, thank you. For everybody who doesn't know, and I'm guessing you would, this is CEO of PepsiCo, Indra Nooyi, please.
I don't think women can have it all. I just don't think so. Um, we pretend we have it all. We pretend we can have it all.
Circumstance to be a mother and a working mother at that. You know what? Like I said before, we're so fortunate because we have such diverse conversations that are going to start off with. Can I start with you, Sonali, please? And I would actually like to understand, you know, how much of a challenge is it as a working parent in your daily life? Can you give us a bit of an excerpt from your life, please?
Good afternoon, everybody, and it's great to be here. Nice to see you all, and I'm sitting on a panel of extremely talented women here. My day is pretty normal in a lot of ways. It's the same thing, like what she was saying. Am I being the mother, the wife, the daughter-in-law, daughter, or the sister, the friend, or just me at some point? So there are times when in the day when I get lost playing all sorts of these other roles, which are not the roles I played in my career, but they're all there. And then there are times, then there's that one bit of time where I dig out and find some time, which is my me time, which for me has turned to be my coping mechanism, as she was saying, which has been my me time. The guilt factor is also true. It does come in. I think we are all kind of conditioned to it. It's in our DNA, it's in our subconscious to be guilty about a lot of things. As mothers, we feel guilty. As daughters, we feel guilty. I think somewhere as women, this is kind of in our upbringing or in our subconscious of as a society itself, that even if we are too happy, we start feeling guilty about it, you know, literally. So it's just, the guilt is not just about being the mother, you're just guilty about things. So these are the things that as you grow and you kind of realize it and you start correcting it and, you know, saying that no, you use the word was beautiful, the coping mechanism, and you start finding out how you can manage it. So my day is sort of normal for the longest part of the day. I get up, send my child to school, do housekeeping, get some meals off and finish off the work and everything, attack all that. And then sometimes from afternoon, or there are days when it's a shoot and it turns into a completely different kind of a day. So suddenly I'm a very, very normal housewife or a mother or whatever. And then when I go onto the set, I am everything that I'm not in the house. So Like what I'm looking like now is exactly opposite of what I would probably looking with the hair all over the place, trying to cope with getting things and getting the son onto the school bus on time, etc., etc. So in certain ways, it's very similar to any normal woman, and in certain ways, it's not. So both of that is kind of a North Pole, South Pole situation for me, where my profession calls me to be calls me to look a certain way, and then you know, when you look at the pictures and you get a feeling that, oh, this is a glamorous life, and this is so, everything is so perfect and everything, and you just realize that nothing is ever perfect, and behind the glamour there's a lot of hard work, and that's how the day goes by. So it's not too much different from what it is with other women. Only the celebrity part gets a little different. That's what it is, I suppose.
Isn't that comforting to hear? You can be Sonali Bendre and still feel guilty because, hey, we're conditioned. Sonali, I must ask you this. So, you know, you're an actor, you have a hectic life, your husband has a hectic life, you know, your kid also would want certain, you know, Mama Aji, I want this and I don't want that. And I'm guessing your husband would also say, no, I don't like that, I like this, etc. So I just want to understand, in terms of family health, how does it all fit in for you? How do you manage? Do you plan?
Well, I'm a Maharashtrian married into a Punjabi family, and I think most people here will understand how different this, food-wise, how different this is, you know. So imagine the Maharashtrian food is definitely not something that the Punjabis enjoy, and the Punjabi food is like, when I got married and I went in, I said, you know, what's the occasion? Because every day the food, the table is laid out like there's a party happening. So I'm like, what is is somebody getting married? And I don't know about it. You know, it's like that. So somewhere, I think what has happened over the period is that we've kind of come to a sweet middle sort of a thing, where we are not probably as frugal or healthy as the Maharashtrian in the general table, but we are not as extravagant as the Punjabi table used to be also. And yeah, that balance has been, and also in the timing, because, you know, there was suddenly the night meal was happening at 4 a.m. in the morning, and you know, so the lifestyle was all over the place. So for me to get that into some sort of, the first thing was to get the pattern of eating and to getting the hours right. So having said that, you know, what you said in that, I would like to say, what you're saying is absolutely true, that we lead by example, and you know, if we can involve the family, it gets better. But because of when I was on my book tour, and I had written a book on which is called Modern Gurukul and my experiments with parenting, a lot of mothers would keep coming and asking me a question which is very relevant for here. Generally in Indian households, it's a joint family. And believe me, I'm lucky. I live in a joint family which is accepting the changes that I want to, and are open to the fact that yes, it is good for us to make these changes. But there are a lot of times when you're in a joint family, the mother of that child, where you want to, whom you want to inculcate that healthy habit in, it does not in India have that freedom of forming that menu for the day. And that, I think, is the biggest challenge that in India we face. The joint family is great in its support system. I mean, I can be a working mother because I have great support from my mother-in-law, from my mother and my father, my sisters-in-law, fabulous support system. But the same support system can be a really difficult thing also, because quite frankly, when my child was born, and when, you know, when he started eating everything, and from the eggplant to, you know, it was like, आलू नहीं खा रहा, बैंगन दे रही है इतने से बच्चे को. It was such a shocking thing, you know. So then slowly, yeah, and then slowly, when, you know, you talk about the studies and you talk about the thing, my mom-in-law was open to the idea, and she said, yes, you know what, this is perfect. And in fact, if anybody else, she said, you know, this is what happened, look at my children, they're all dealing with weight issues today. And really, I don't want my grandchild to deal with it. I'm not going to interfere with it. You decide what you want to do. Exactly. You know, what I realized is that most mothers-in-law don't do it. They do not want to let go of the control. They think they are right, and they are not letting the mother, so, you know, they're kind of undermining what the mother is trying to do most of the time. And that, I think, is the biggest challenge where Indian women are concerned. For that, you know, to having, so that's like a, then you have to be a politician, a diplomat, and while being the mother, daughter, sister, etc., you have to be that also to kind of give it. So only thing that I realized is that you need to give it a lot of time, because you can't just say, this is what I want to implement. It just needs to be given a lot of time, where you spend the time to explain things, you get them on board. See, once they get on board, it's a beautiful thing to have your family together. But that getting on board is not something that happens suddenly. You have to work on it, and you have to give it time. So that, I think, was a bigger challenge, and to deal with that sort of a zone, than actually the meal planning. That became the easier part then.